Here is the former WBO Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Demarcus Chop Chop Corley. The former lightweight champion of the world, former junior lightweight champion of the world, the undefeated pretty boy, Floyd Mayweather.
Round one begins, and we'll see if Corley lives up to his stated goal of, well, it certainly makes sense because I think boxing Floyd Mayweather is, for most fighters, going to be suicide. The question is it Corley's game to do this?
Well, you know, Floyd's biggest punch basically is his right hand, and Corley can help as a professional fighter.
Absolutely. He has indeed been physically challenged by Corley in the round.
And Corley
Mayweather has also managed to land his straight right a couple times and stuns Corley with a straight right under the jaw.
Mayweather switched up now in his fight, left hand.
Actually a punch to the body that sent Corley off balance.
A copy box count, but Corley threw 28 back. However, Mayweather landing at a higher frequency rate and landed. Corley trained for 6 weeks with Costa-Zoo, certainly the biggest right-hand puncher in the 140-pound. And he's landing his right hand, and now Corley lands a right hand straight up the middle. The momentarily back Mayweather off, but Floyd comes right back and pressures Corley to the ropes. Lands two good boxes.
Turned out to be a brawl for the most part.
They're going to stand and trade shots, at least for the moment.
A year or so ago, I know Mayweather was having a lot of problems with his hands. And that was a reason I'm very impressed with Mayweather's performance.
Mayweather very calmly shots and pick him off and then retaliate immediately from close range. Corley is indeed an entirely different fighter tonight than the man who fought Zab Judah last summer. Far more of a commitment to the fight. Can't seem to stop Floyd Mayweather.
No, Mayweather too.
Mayweather grins, fires back two body shots, but make no mistake, he was stunned by Corley with that right hand of his. Body shots by Mayweather, Corley coming with uppercuts. Round three, a little bit more troublesome round than the first two were for Floyd Mayweather.
This was a really hard punch with a left hand. Mayweather took the punch, but it gave him some notice that he can't be completely reckless in his aggressiveness.
3-0, 30-27, Floyd Mayweather.
Well, he's in trouble now as Demarcus Corley once again catches him and now tries to go to work against the ropes.
A right hand sent Mayweather back into the ropes.
And now Corley working against a Mayweather who's leaning back against the ropes, trying to get in something good to the body as Mayweather tries to fend him off while leaning back.
And one thing I'll give Corley credit for, he's trying to take his time, not throwing up too many punches where he drains himself, trying to wait for a good clean punch.
Corley not over anxious. Mayweather gathering himself and coming back. Now he tries to stop Corley's offense with body shots of his own.
Mayweather's hurt, but he's still fighting back.
Right left hook by Mayweather. Now Corley's hurt.
There's an opportunity for Corley here if he can take it, because as you just said, he is hurt. I think both fighters are hurt here.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for Mayweather too.
Way through the round.
Trading shots at close range. Suddenly it's Batty Ward 4 in a pairing where we never expected to see it.
But Mayweather's very good with those little short punches in close like this here. Whereas Corley has to get a little bit more swing room for him.
Right hand by Mayweather. Hardest punch of the fight. Corley visibly stunned by that one. Trying to duck and slip. Catches another big right hand. And down goes Corley to his knee.
Of his own accord.
Well, that's stunning to me because I thought he went down to stop the assault. And Mayweather grinned over at us as if to say, what a fight. And now Corley's back on him. And
but you know, the way it's going, I don't think it's going to go to 12 rounds.
Hard right hands by Corley. 2 in a row. Plant Roy Jones atop the pound-for-pound list and playing a game of Russian roulette with Demarcus Corley. Corley's nose and mouth. That was a big right hand, and Corley took it reasonably well. Comes back with some body shots of his own. What a fourth round.
This is a fierce round. Give Corley credit. That right hand stunned Mayweather. And now give Mayweather credit for pulling himself together to take control later. And there was another, a left hand shot. Mayweather hoarding his strength.
Floyd Mayweather definitely the pressure fighter now in round 5.
He seems to have been able to think better under these kind of conditions, which is interesting. But, you know, he's been a more active fighter as compared to Corley, and that makes a big difference.
Switches to a southpaw stance. Lands a vicious left hand. Goes back at Corley with 2 more shots to the body.
Mayweather has are content to stay outside and use their speed advantage.
Well, I think he wanted to make a point tonight. He came here to really prove that he's the best pound-for-pound fighter. He wanted to look impressive tonight, even at the risk of possibly being knocked out.
$3 million, Corley $150,000, and Corley is fighting as hungry as a fighter can fight.
Great body shot by Mayweather. Sets up a right hand that stuns Corley again. Demarcus Corley again hurt. Gets in one right hand off the ropes. Mayweather trying to finish it.
Here's Mayweather lining up his right hand. That is not a real hard punch. Mayweather got instructions from his corner.
Again, it's not this kind of a brawl for 5 rounds.
Once you get in the rhythm of a war like that, it's very hard to get out of that. You know, it gets in your blood, and you can't change up. But at this stage here, the fight can go either way.
For a couple of rounds. Straight right hand.
Well, his mindset is to fight tonight. I don't think he wants to box. Even if he could win the fight easy by boxing, I don't think that's what he wants to do.
I agree. I think it's good. It's good. Unquestionably, Floyd Mayweather has lost some of his sharpness in this round.
5 seconds.
Hand difficulties again.
That's very true.
Or it simply may be that. Yeah.
No.
Nor has he shaken it as fighters often will do when they're experiencing pain.
It does mean this is the rougher fight than he's ever had in his career.
That right hand isn't what I was tasting before. Good little right hook by Corley. Good punching. Now the right hand is thrown with authority again by Mayweather. 2 big pops with the right hand, and Corley backed away. Left hook.
I was just going to point out that Mayweather's now went into his shoulders for all of his defensive motion and returning little short right-hand punches after making a defensive motion with his left shoulder.
And continuing to work underneath to the body of Corley. Corley lands 2 shots, but takes 2 bigger ones in return. And this time it will be called a knockdown, as amid the pressure, Corley put his knee on the canvas.
7, 8.
Wisely so. I think he was in deep trouble and decided that he needed a bit of a rest.
At this point, he can't win the fight on the scorecards anyway, or so it would appear. Save himself to try for knockout shots. What a body assault by Mayweather. Corley landed his left hand flush. Floyd walked right through it. That's the 4th time Corley's been on the canvas. And
the beginning of the end, it did lead to a knockdown or a go down.
Punch to begin with. And Mayweather just surprised me a lot with him being so much more aggressive. But, you know, once again, he's been very busy fighting much better quality fight. That's what I was saying in the beginning. He's a very active puncher. And he's almost seemingly
trying to get at Floyd Mayweather Jr.
When a kid starts boxing at those ages of 5 and 7, they have just built-in instincts that happens automatically where they don't have to even think.
And that's Floyd Mayweather. He grew up in the gym.
No.
5th time Corley's been on the canvas.
Come on.
Only 1 knockdown so far.
And whenever a fighter keeps going down for whatever reason it is, slips, falls, pushes or whatever, off balance.
Sometimes he lets it go from the shoulder with mean intentions. Sometimes he just shoots it out. His quickness, that kind of a right hand is sort of a half jab arsenal.
And again, to repeat the point that Emmanuel has made several times, such remarkable accuracy on his punches. Left hook floors Corley, right in the center of the ring.
Everything was short. He just locked his arms up and twisted the punches off. Never had to reach and throw anything wide.
Perfect craft and perfect technique.
And Corley couldn't see the punches because they were so short.
Second time Corley's been down officially. Sixth time he's been on the canvas.
Don't forget, Corley's never been stopped in a fight, I don't think, amateur or professional.
Doesn't want to be here.
Come on, go, 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 go.
Perhaps.
A lot of guys have great amateur records. This is the professional world.
They're trading again, and amateurs don't do this. Larry's right. This is pro boxing, and it's different. Mayweather's trying to become the first to knock Demarcus Corley out, and he's getting a lot of free shot rounds.
No, Mayweather's landing effective punches.
More body shots from Mayweather. Hard right hand. Corley catching this stuff flush. Hanging in a courageous performance. Mayweather gets in a blistering left.
Overwhelming, comprehensive performance by Mayweather against a tough will come.
Harold, how do you have it through 10?
Okay, Jim. 10 rounds to nothing. 100 to 88.
And they resisted.
The thing about it, he's still competitive, but it doesn't look like he's going to win the fight by a knockout, and it's just a case of how much more punishment can he take.
You barely see him. His mouth is bloody. His eye is swollen, so it's an easy win, it looks like. But even easy wins in boxing aren't all that easy.
Well, surely Floyd will see all that as a badge of honor.
Well, at junior welter and welterweight.
Well, I'll tell you what, he wants to fight Arturo Gatti. If he came in and fought Arturo Gatti this way, you'd have some entertainment, huh?
5 seconds.
Yeah, Gatti gets hit, but Gatti can take a punch there.
Trading shots again with Demarcus Corley as the 11th round comes to a... Floyd Mayweather Jr. fighting for the... Or will they strategically give up belts rather than to try to face Floyd Mayweather, who might be a sure loss? Southpaw style?
Southpaw style, and he's used to that weight, so he's, and he's got the same speed that could equal Mayweather.
Well, then it's a fight worth talking about. Because certainly Mayweather doesn't shrink from challenges if fighters are willing to fight it.
One round, perhaps I was being generous. Obviously, Mayweather has completely throttled him, dominated him, but hasn't been able to discourage him.
It's one thing comparing him to Roy Jones. Roy Jones never took this kind of punishment that he's taken in this fight. Even though he won the rounds, he won them without being hit.
One more time to the canvas for Corley. His 7th time there tonight. As
Melvina Lathan scores it 119 to 107. William Boudhou has it 119, 108. Gail Van Oy 118, 108. All for the winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated, Pretty Boy, Floyd Mayweather.